For those of us who have been here for some time, I met Dr. Erku Yimer some time ago in the 80s. He was someone whom I looked up to. When I served as the president of the Nigerian National Alliance, he was the guy who advised me on how to deal with our people because I was a younger guy than the people that I was in charge of. This man has provided the greatest leadership, not only to the Ethiopian community, and I say this as a fact, he has provided one of the most dynamic leaderships in the African community. And for that, I say, Doctor, thank you very much.
Dr. Erku, I would like to express my utmost gratitude for your stellar and outstanding commitment and service for the past 3 decades, and I wish you a long, productive, and happy life of retirement. I also believe that your love and strong bond to the association will bring you back so we can reap more fruit from your lifelong experience and wisdom. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
We brought a total of 2,700 refugees from about 24, 23 countries and resettled them in the Chicago area. I think since 1985, we served a total of 20,000 refugees and immigrants. That is leadership. That is good. All in all, when you see this performance excellence, accomplishments, when you see things, it looks simple, but it takes a lot of, strength. The other thing is, even lately, Erku and Falasfa developed Ethiopian Eskista Club, and believe it or not, both of them are graduates of this training. And when they do Eskista, they don't just do Jeff or Shemidmid. As my Ethiopian friends say, they go Tefzarka and Dalenka. And if you don't know Ethiopian Eskista, when they do that, you think they are in some kind of electrical shock treatment. They just go like that. Anyway, to sum up, Erku, thank you. Marty, thank you for standing by the side of Erku. You have really positioned this agency to a healthy and promising stand. You have developed the auxiliary board, the use of our community who is going to take leadership of this community, which is great. And you have given us a very bright, young, dynamic individuals, Aklilu Ade as the new CEO. Aklilu understands the methods, policies, and procedures of this agency. He understands the needs of our constituencies. He understands the rules and regulation of the funding sources and will keep the integrity of this association. So you did it all. Erku, always, when I grow old, become an adult, I want to be like you.
I really don't know of anybody else who is more deserving to this recognition and to this rewarding experience than my friend Erku. I have known Erku for the last 35 years. He's a very modest, very patient, very classy guy with a great deal of integrity. That is really what made this community successful, because of that patience, that integrity, and that classy leadership. So congratulations, Erku, and congratulations, Martha, as well.
After this, I just want to say something about Erku. I have known him since 1984. He's a great man. I don't know what else, I don't have any words. He's very gentle. Believe it or not, I was the youngest board member and founding member of ECAC. and he treated me like somebody, always. I'm much younger than him, I'm less educated than him, but he always treated me like somebody. I always respect him. I admire him for that. He inspired me, actually, to continue working for ECAC because of his respect and his commitment for our organization. I noticed something. Erku is always inspired about Ethiopia and Ethiopianism. That inspires me too. Maybe this is the reason I really like what he did for the last 30 years. Without him, this organization is not going to be here. I'm not going to discredit the staff, the board members, but believe me, without him, we wouldn't be here today. We have seen so many Ethiopian organizations and other MAs. They come today and they are gone tomorrow with corruptions, with money mismanagement, and so on. Erku is different. He gave us his trust. We trusted him. He managed our organization professionally, with integrity, with, I don't have any words to explain it. I hope Aklilu, where is Aklilu? Aklilu is going to have a big shoe to fill, but I know you can do it. For all this, I thank you. I'm going to miss you, but I hope you will be around to do more as a board member, as advisory board, or whatever capacity. But thank you very much for everything.
The first thing I want to say is that on behalf of the state, I was going to bring a really big gift to give to Erku tonight, but unfortunately, because of the budget impasse, so I'm going to give Erku an IOU, and then when we have a budget, I come back and give him a gift. The second thing I want to share with you is that before I become the state refugee coordinator, I had a similar job that Erku held for 30 years. But I could only do it for 8 years. And then I had to quit because the job was so hard, so demanding. And look at that, he stayed on for 30 years. So my hat's totally off to you, out of respect to Erku. So you already heard a lot about what Erku has achieved for the community and the organization. But there's one aspect about the work that I think Erku and I have a very intimate knowledge because of the work we did together to build community organizations. When many of us come here as refugees, our first impulse is to worry only about our own survival, finding a job, finding opportunity for education, worry about our family here, our family still in the home country, survival guilt, all of that. So it's very difficult to start thinking about what is a communal need and what is our role toward that communal need. But when you live in Chicago, you learn very quickly that if you're not organized, you're in trouble. Because this is a place where it's a birthplace of community organizing. It's a place where you can say that we are very diverse and live well together. But the reality is, if you're not organized, you cannot advocate for your own community. So that part of the work is what I want to just spend a couple minutes to talk about. Because Erku can compete for state, local contracts, and he can help the organization succeed or fail on the quality of the program. But what is really hard is to live up to the aspiration of the community itself. So when you create a community organization, every member of the community understand that you represent them. That when people think about Ethiopian or Vietnamese or Somalian, they think that you will be the one speaking on their behalf. And so it's very challenging to live up to the ideal expectation of the community. You're supposed to know everything about your culture. People will come and ask you, well, what is the Ethiopian tradition when it comes to wedding? And somehow you're supposed to know every little detail about how Ethiopian wedding is administered. People would come to you and ask you about Ethiopian history and whether you are knowledgeable about Ethiopian history or not. You have to quickly make sure that you become the master of the subject. So this is what is really important about living up to the aspiration of the community. And also, there's many community politics that you have to deal with. There's different factions that also want their aspiration to be represented in the leadership of the organization. So to be able to do that for 30 years and still have this many people show up is really something, right?
Those who know me know that it's not many times I say that I'm lost for words. Today is one day that I can honestly say that I'm lost for words. We are here to talk about someone who made it possible for so many of us to be where we are today. In many ways, he's the best gift of Ethiopia to the African community in the state of Illinois and the United States of America. He is a pioneer, someone who came, saw, and unlike many of us, conquered. He created a path where there was none. And when I first came to Chicago in 1991, he was the lone African talking about issues affecting the emerging African community here. He was the one who had the big shoulder enough to carry all of us forward. He was selfless. Wherever there was opportunity, Erku was there to share that with the rest of us. That, my friend, is true leadership. In many ways, he symbolizes for us here today what Ethiopia symbolized for the rest of Africa at a time when, during the so-called Berlin Conference of 1884-1885, Otto von Bismarck and several European leaders gathered to slice up Africa like a piece of cake. Ethiopia affirmed Africa's quest for self-determination and the dignity to live as a people on their own land, not under colonial rule. Whatever happened later on, leading to the freedom of Ghana and the rest of Africa, happened because Ethiopia was a shining light for the rest of the continent. So I say today, whatever has happened that is good in the African community here in Chicago, it happened because Dr. Erku Yimer was a shining light for the African community.
How do you describe or honor somebody that came from this little village in Ethiopia with a bunch of chickens to the Windy City? How do you honor somebody that for 30 years cared for his community and cared for people and helped build this wonderful foundation? So what do you say? I came up with some words, but it's interesting, the words are not in English. They are in Amharic. So how would I describe, how would I honor this kid from Borna? First of all, I would say, Isu Jegna now. Okay? So Jegna. For those of you that don't know Amharic, Jegna means warrior, fighter, leader, one who goes into battle. So this guy, okay, became a Jegna in America, armed with a PhD from the University of Wisconsin in education, with an intense desire to help people because he believed in people, and armed with a wife that was most faithful, tenacious, patient, and understanding, and some kids that learned the language and appreciated their culture. He fought the battle on the forefront in America for refugees and for immigrants. And it was a very, very hard fight. Gin, but indeed, Jegna now. So then I searched. Oh God, I couldn't just say one thing about him, right? I had to say something else. So what else? What other Amerindia words are there? So there's a phrase concept in Amharic, and I would say then, Gurma mogus alo. Idolum? And what does Gurma mogus mean for those of you Americans here that don't understand? It's Gurma mogus means a person that has integrity, that has trustworthiness, that is resilient, that is clear, that has insight, that is strong, that is compassionate, that is a leader. Unet? Really? Gurma mogus allo.
Arriba el sagota, arriba el correme.